yeah. Well, she was just saying no.
Well, hopefully Trump's going to come out for legalization. I'm hoping he does.
Well, I heard today that he's gonna get tough with the states that are legalizing it. Just so you know, look at
we'll see how that works. And then we might be headed for another civil war, because that's where the first civil war. Do the states have the right to decide for themselves, or can the federal government force it down their throat?
Well, our friends in Europe might be waiting for that to happen, or enemies, actually. Only because if there's turmoil here, that means we don't have the wherewithal to worry about what's going on in Europe and in the Middle East. But I don't know if you're familiar with New York politics in the late 70s and early 80s. I think that was under
He's
Koch.
never heard about those laws.
Well, under Koch.
When Koch was in there and Koch got in there and he started bumping on everybody.
Koch provided clean needles for addicts, because of the AIDS epidemic. It was rampant in New York,
right? Just
like in California. And they started handing out condoms in high school, for safe sex, because, in fact, the gay community cleaned up their act long before the heterosexuals who contracted AIDS, because the heterosexuals said, it's a gay disease. It has nothing to do with me. So they would have unprotected sex. They didn't know who they were having sex with, per se. And they wound up getting sick. And they wound up coming down with AIDS. And as far as Reagan was concerned, Reagan, I think wasn't even in his first 4 years of presidency. He never even mentioned the word AIDS. A great many men and women died of AIDS, because he had a blind eye toward it. He didn't think the federal government should get into that. But you have, the World Health Organization, you have Anthony Fauci, all of them that were doing research, because the average person looked at AIDS and said, that's God's punishment against the homosexual community. And that's how they looked at it.
Until the straights
rather than praying and helping them. And we need to help our fellow people that are addicts or whatever. But we don't need to cage them. Caging them is the wrong attitude.
I certainly agree with you. We all agree with that.
He's going to get away from the cages.
They need medical treatment. That's what they need. They need therapy.
Yeah, I understand they need medical treatment. I do. I understand that. But, hopefully we're going to get the compassionate and service to understand it. And there are more that are coming around. There are some you can't save, but some are coming around.
Just remember that famous line, I could stop any time, right? How many times have you heard that in your lifetime? I could stop any time. Drinking, I could stop any time.
I know, man.
Drugs, I could stop any time.
I hear you there, man. It's like,
gentlemen,
everybody's got them.
I got to tell you, this was a wonderful
exchange.
At least about an hour or so.
Oh, yeah, it's always good talking to you. Hey, when I talk to you guys, we always have a nice exchange.
I know.
You know what I mean?
And
it's all about liberty and freedom. And we really must stand up for liberty and freedom. And not only our own, but others. I mean, really, people that have problems don't need to be shoved in cages. They need to be taken out and helped. And that's what Jesus would have wanted us to do. You know what I mean? And Jesus was the greatest teacher of us all, man.
I tell you, it was a wonderful exchange. Mike, I hope you call up again.
Mike, I got a question for you, though.
Oh, yeah.
I have a small business also, and last year or the year before, there were all these companies all trying to get me to sign up with them for $5,000 to $6,000 so they'll get me government contracts. I think that
Don't believe that.
I said that was a scam.
It is a scam.
Yeah.
There's there are websites. What would be a good one? Take a look at a website called shoot. So there's one you got to be careful of. FedBid. Stay away from that one. That's part of a scam, and some of the people that own it, and there was an investigation into it, were Army officers and politicians had set up this website. They called it a reverse auction. It's pretty slick. And if you do a search for FedBid, you'll see it. And for a while there, the VA system and the Air Force prohibited people from listing it. What they did was the contracting officers would put a bid on FedBid, which is like eBay. And the government would sign up on it. And they'd put a bid on there and say they need 3,000 windows. And then you'd come in and say, okay, I can provide you these windows for your specs for this much money. Now, a percentage of that, with the total amount of the bid is given back to FedBid as a kickback. So that bid, depending on what it is, might cost the government, like in one case, there was a bid that I put in, where they direct you. The government would tell you, we can't take your bid over the phone anymore. We want you to put the bid in, register on FedBid, and you have to do it there. I said, why should I put in my bid on a third party, which costs the government money, when you're a contracting officer and you can take my bid right here on the phone, or I can email it to you? Why should you involve a third party? Because they were making money off of it. This is during the Obama days. So what they did was, there was one group that I put in a bid. I was outbid by 3 cents a meal from a company down in Atlanta, Georgia. And it was for 800 soldiers. All right, it didn't matter. It turned out I was feeding 800 soldiers on my own from a different unit. All right, fine.
Bless you.
Little did I know that, thanks, that food service operation did not show up in New York to feed these soldiers. So the first night what the government did was they went up to Boston Market and they bought 800 orders of chicken with, give me any idea how much that cost. I don't even know what that cost the government. But so the guys had chicken. Now the next morning, I'm doing breakfast. The government contracting calls me at 5 in the morning. They said, can you provide another 800 breakfasts? I said, what are you talking about? You people save 3 cents a meal. And for you to list that auction on FedBid, you paid $800 commission to FedBid to list that auction. Now you're telling me that you don't have food? So it's a huge scam. And it's not just with you paying them to get you the contracts. There's a site called FedBiz Ops that's run by the government. FedBiz Ops. And you can look it up, find their website. It's not easy to find. Register on there and start going state by state and looking for something. Now, they're going to ask you to register. CCR. You're going to be a registered vendor with the state, with the federal government. And they'll look at you and say, okay, small business, great. And they accept you. They give you a DUNS number and everything. And then you're a registered vendor. And then you can bid on those contracts and you can get work. And for the small guys like us, it's worth it. Because then you can end up getting something good. But, however, one thing, keep in mind, the government doesn't deal by commercial rules like you and I do, where we look out for our vendors. We might use the same, like me, I might use the same produce guy because I've been using that guy for years, and he knows what I like. He knows what to give me because he keeps my business. So he takes care of me, and I give him the work. Federal government doesn't care like that. They'll use somebody that's substandard on purpose just so they can do what's called distribute the wealth. So if you do a good job, they'll penalize you. They'll say that, like in my case, they've come after me repeatedly by saying that I exceed the minimum requirements of the contract, which is unfair to other vendors, because I serve a better meal and I should be going strictly by the military menu. No more, like there was one group where it was a small group. They were changing their MOS. They were going for military police. They were recertifying. And it was Labor Day, I think it was, Labor Day holiday. And they were stuck on the base. A bunch of the instructors had gone home for barbecues. And some of these guys are from out of state, and there was about 30 of them. And I felt bad for the guys because it's kind of miserable. There's nothing up there for them to do on the base. And so we went to Stu Leonard's. It's a supermarket for those of you guys.
Yep,
Right,
sure. Westchester.
90 seconds.
We cut a deal with the manager. He waived the limit, and we did Maine lobster, corn on the cob, potato salad. We did for everybody. We did a Maine lobster meal for every one of the soldiers. Now that meal, I was being paid by the government $9 per person. The next day, I had a phone call from Albany saying you're bribing the soldiers by exceeding the minimum requirements. So they don't go by rules the way we do.
60 seconds.
The rules are retarded. They're insane. So if you think you're doing a good job, or you put your heart into it as a government contractor, I mean, I always will. I'm not going to change the way I am. Screw them. I'll take care of my soldiers. I'm not going to give them a peanut butter sandwich.
Oh, sure.
But the government has their own reality. They're in their own world. But hopefully that'll change also with Trump. And we'll get common sense back into this government. Because right now, it's not there.
Well,
there's no accountability. And it's even in society. There's no accountability.
Mike?
They don't, even down to the kids. Yep.
Save it for next week. We're getting ready to go off. They're going to cut us off. Okay?
All right.
We normally go on, we're just going on Fridays. We start at 9.
9 to 11 usually. So if you really
10 seconds.
Well, do you have a green room?
No.
Do you have a green room?
No.
Okay, you know what I mean? Where you can, once you stop transmitting, we can keep the phone going?
Yeah, we can for a few minutes.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
So you're not, the show's
Right,
over, but we keep the phone going so you can talk to me.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I can give you some of my background. I can find you guys on Facebook and stuff. Great. So keep me on the line. Don't hang up after the show ends.
Okay.
No, you can continue. It doesn't matter. The one
We're not going anywhere.
the one show is brought. We're on two formats. One Spreaker and also on Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Are you on Facebook? Do you have a Facebook page?
Well, not really. I mean, you got.
Well, if they look for your...
you can look up the CC Radio Network. There's a Facebook.
What is it?
CC Radio
CC?
Network. Radio Network.
All one word?
Yeah. Or maybe I'm not sure how it's the CC Space Radio Space Network. Now, how did you call? Through what format? How did you find us?
Through Blog Talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And also,
Okay, hold on. I'm looking up CC Radio Network on Facebook right now. Let me see if it comes up. No, I'm not getting anything. I got Raquel Okoye. You guys know Judy Pepinella?
No.
Now you know what? I'll look it up, and I'll get it for you. I'm not sure because we have our own website, ccradionetwork.com.
There's New York Studios, the Creek Broadcast, CC Radio Network's not coming up on Facebook.
Okay, we have our own website also. It's called the ccradionetwork.com.
Because it'd be good since we're in the same state too to be able to have a connection up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking up on Google right now to see what comes up.
No, just
the Coffee Club.
No, Coffee Club. Yeah.
No,
we are the Coffee.
In.
We were also the Coffee
Radio
Club.
locations.
Yeah. We were also the Coffee Club. Yeah. That's what it actually stood for, is a Coffee Club, CC. But I said we have our own website. I'm not sure what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to find you so that I get, usually when somebody has a Blog Talk Radio show, after the show ends, the phone line will still be alive and they can talk offline.
Well, right now, we're talking with Blog Talk Radio.
But the show is still broadcasting. The show is still broadcasting.
The show is taping now. It's not broadcasting.
Right.
And I'm not sure if it stopped yet. After a few minutes, it stops. Or,
right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they do it. I'll be honest with you, because this number is their number.
Right.
Blog Talk Radio provides.
Okay, here I found you. I found you on Facebook, the Coffee Club. Yeah. Are you on there? I'm gonna hit the like button right now, so that way you see who I am.
Oh, you want to go Facebook? All right.
Go to